I was literally about to go out for dinner, but I needed to talk to you guys about this. We literally need to stop wasting our lives and live our best lives now. Feel ashamed. I literally have to sing to myself in order to not have such a stiff face because I'm so serious when I talk to you guys. Hi guys, my name's Hibba and welcome back to my channel. To those that don't know me, I do a lot of crafty little things, and that's to boost my mood, my self-esteem, and also to have a little business on the side. Alongside this, I talk about mental health and self-growth because that is super important in our life, and having your own business and creating all ties in with that. Today we are going to talk about building your self-esteem and living your best life. I want to jump straight into it. So when I was younger, even when I had lower self-esteem, something within the cruxicles of my soul told me to just get myself out there. So I knew the owner of this restaurant, like in central London. My mum would take me there when I was younger, and then I ended up dating a guy who was also friends with the owner of this restaurant, and I ended up constantly going there. When I eventually became single and also my mum moved country, I got a bit lonely, and I was running my fashion brand that was really doing really well at the time. And so I got very lonely because running my fashion brand, i.e. doing my creative stuff, can get really lonely. So when I kept going to this restaurant, I started to go on my own because I was like, you know what, I can say hi to the owner, make friends with the staff, and then like listen to the live music in the restaurant. And what happened and resulted in that was I ended up getting invited on this like big trip to Cannes Film Festival, south of France. I don't mean to show off, but I just want to like emphasize to you guys that through me going there on my own and using my initiative and just putting myself out there, it created these really cool experiences for me where I ended up flying on a private jet to these events, and I experienced Cannes Film Festival and the Grand Prix and everything. And then after that, linked to like similar people, I ended up getting offered a job as a celebrity stylist. And my first job was to style Justin Bieber, which was wild. And back in my day, we didn't just have like our iPhones and snap everything, like take photos of everything. It wasn't really that tasteful. And I do have some photos from that period of time, but it's too embarrassing. I just don't, like you guys just have to take my word for it, or don't believe me, that's fine. Point being is, that built my self-esteem. My self-esteem was not built through, and then I went to the restaurant on my own and dated myself. Instead of, oh, I'm single, I can't go on these dates anymore, I started going to the places where me and my ex-boyfriend went, but I went alone. Then, hitherto, it opened up opportunities not only for travel opportunities and life experiences. I got a freaking cool job and ended up making like 10 really cool friends out of it because all of my stylist friends, I'm still friends with them 10 years later. Yes, that's very telling of how long ago that was. And that in turn boosted my self-esteem, but it was through action. Action is what boosts one's self-esteem. And then that then goes into the next point, which is stop wasting your life. If you're hiding away from the world, if you're too scared, living in fear, we only have one life on this earth, so you really need to figure out a way where you can make the most of this one life. What is it you can do, whether it's study in a new place or work in a new place, or get yourself out there on one day of the week, or take yourself on a date, and anything that you do, by the way, it can be something that you genuinely like in your soul feel like would be fun. Like I thought it would be really fun to go to this bar and watch live music. I wouldn't just force myself to go to like some random restaurant that kind of didn't bring out some sort of lift my energy somewhat. Speak to a therapist. The thing is, therapists can be expensive, but I'm going to tell you that there are a few ways which you can go about finding therapy. I don't know therapy from all around the world. However, I do know that my best friend is studying to be a therapist, and because she's studying to be a therapist, they provide really cheap therapy that is held by the students. So my friend's a student. So essentially she's learning, and my friend is learning and studying, and she has clients and patients, and she's speaking to them right now. She is their therapist. I mean, my friend's pretty amazing at uplifting me, and she's given me great life advice. So I think anyone who has her is lucky. And I think it works out as like maximum £30 per session. So look at like therapy unis, and contact them and see if they can do that. In the midst of that, you can go to the NHS in the UK and see if you can register for that really long waiting list for the therapy. But it did work for me because I did utilize that resource. And in the midst of the waiting list of the NHS, you can do the university therapy. look at podcasts and YouTube channels which talk about uplifting, watch my videos. I try my best to uplift you guys as much as possible. Like doing the art that I teach, that is almost like an art therapy. It gives you a sense of purpose and direction and like you've achieved something, which is so lovely. And finally, lots of people have said I take that back. Predominantly people online have told me they don't like BetterHelp. However, I really liked it and a few of my friends really liked it, and if you can't afford it, you just email them and you tell them that you can't afford it and they'll reduce the price. I'm not sponsored by BetterHelp. My channel isn't that big to be sponsored by companies right now. But yes, it works for me. I have been using BetterHelp for almost 2 years, and the first therapist, she was lovely, but I just, in my soul, didn't feel like she was right for me. Changed to my next therapist and I've stuck with her ever since because she is like a godsend. Oh yes, and going to therapy can shave off years of healing, years. There's points where you feel lonely, where you feel like your friends are being a bit like not present, where you feel like your family aren't being present, where you feel like you're not venting out your energy, where you feel you need someone like a sounding board. Like me having a therapist once a week is someone to soundboard off of and learn and build and grow. It's almost like a talking journal. If I went to therapy sooner, I would have probably not burnt out from the 2 businesses that I ran, and I would have had someone to outlet to and had my mental growth faster. Because now I'm in my 30s and I'm so proud of my self-confidence and my achievements, but I wish in my 20s it was easier. Obviously some difficulty makes you stronger and makes you learn, but definitely needed it to be easier because it really held me back personally. No more people pleasing. It's really important to be polite and kind to human beings, but you have to always ask yourself, do I actually want to meet this person? Do I actually want to go out? Do I actually want to do this? If the answer is no, then just say no. Stay at home if you really want to. As long as it's a healthy decision, you're not doing it because you're trying to isolate yourself, because you shouldn't isolate yourself, because humans are communal creatures. What I used to do is I used to meet up with people, firstly when I wanted to, but also if I knew that I had like a week coming up where I would be busy with work, I'd make sure I fit in my friends before that busy week, and then I would stay at home and do work because I worked from home because I ran my own business. So you have to plan ahead essentially and just do what works for you. You don't need to always be overly polite. You don't always need to reply really fast. You should always be kind, but you don't need to go, oh my god, thank you so much, yes please, because people don't actually value that. They just don't, you know. Just say, yeah, no, that's great, woohoo. You don't need to say woohoo, but anyway, hopefully you get the gist. You don't owe anyone anything. Let this be your permission to set yourself free from feeling like you owe anyone anything. I always felt like I owed people things. Oh my god, this person recommended me to someone and then that got me a job, and then I thought about them for like the next year. Oh my gosh, what can I offer them? Or like if someone offers you something, it's because they wanted to offer you something, and if they wanted something in return, then that makes them not a very genuine person. Obviously it's nice to help each other, but if you don't know how to help someone, then you can't like beat yourself up about it. For me, I had like certain friends which did a lot for me when I first moved country, but then I noticed they were being distant, and I was like, oh my gosh, but I have to buy them a present because they were so nice to me a few months ago. And then my therapist said to me, but they're not talking to you right now. Stop thinking about them. You don't have to get them a gift. You don't have to make a big deal out of the fact that they were so welcoming when you moved country. You can just accept that they're doing their own thing and that you don't owe them anything. The end. I don't want this to be a long video, but I want to end this with some ways to boost your self-esteem. So all the stuff that I spoke about before are ways to boost your self-esteem through actions. Through actions and not having massive high expectations of yourself or people pleasing, etc. The final point I'm going to get at is some more practical ways to build your self-esteem. So first and foremost, sleep routine, making sure you can fit in sleep as much as possible. Life is so busy, so just try your best to have a bit of a sleep routine. Your health, try your best to go to the gym. The way that I worked around the gym is pick the number one thing that you find the most fun. So at the time, the number one thing I found the most fun was yoga. So I would do lots of yoga, and then if and when I would get bored of that, I would move on to the next thing that I found fun. And I noticed when my muscle mass and my flexibility and my routine got better, I naturally wanted to do weightlifting class and then like boxercise classes, and it slowly progressed. And the stronger my body gets, The gym's fun because I started with fun. I used to torture myself and run on this running track every day, come rain or sun or whatever, because we had a running track outside my front door where I lived in London. And I was like beating myself up. I was like, I have a running track. It's a professional running track. How dare I not use it? I'm such a privileged person to kind of like not utilize my resources. That's how I built my fitness. With regards to health, you just implement little healthy habits every single day, whether it's one less unhealthy snack, if it's one more healthy vegetable. You keep doing that over and over and over, and your taste buds eventually, also just like the exercise, your body, your taste bud, your mouth, your mind gets used to it, and it slowly, gradually gets better day by day. Rome wasn't built in a day. The way you present yourself, if you can't afford to get your nails done, then do your nails yourself. If you can't afford to get your hair cut or whatever, then you need to figure out either how to do it yourself, or you need to get some sort of serum or really good quality shampoo so your hair doesn't split and get dry. You need to think of ways around working with what you can work with. Once your physical is getting better, your aesthetic, your health, your self-esteem will naturally just build and build and build every single day. And that's what we're looking for, improvements every day. Your only competition is yourself. So just be better than who you were yesterday. Ultimately, it's about taking control of what you can control and trying to accept the things that you can't control, because if you can't control it, there's nothing you can do about it. If you can control it, then there is something you can do about it. So you're fine either way. So the way that I'm going to sum this up is go to therapy, date yourself, meet new people, no more people pleasing. You do not owe anyone anything. Boost your self-esteem through improving your exercise, your physical health, your mental health, your diet, and taking control of what you can control. I was just about to go out and I forgot to tell you this really important one. Financial stability, of course. It's so important for us to have financial stability, even when we're struggling financially or we're struggling with our job or we don't like it. I was reading The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and he was saying, how can we make the most of the situation we are in now? Let's say you don't like your job. You use that job to practice patience. You use that job to practice discipline. You make the most of the job that you have now, and you show gratitude for the job that you have. If you don't have a job and you're really stressed out for not having a job, you're gonna have to get to the point where you find work anywhere. As long as it's legal and it's safe, you're gonna have to start somewhere and have stepping stones. What I would do to turn back time and have got maybe just like a little part-time job in a vintage shop when I was running my own businesses at home, that would have skimmed off so much loneliness, so much financial strain, because I had to work 24/7, 7 days a week in order to make money with my business, to make sure that I got paid. And if I didn't work on my business, I would not get paid, and then I would be crying and so stressed. Just to have that consistent income, it's so important, and it would have massively boosted my self-esteem. When you have money, you just feel more confident. Even if the job sucks, that of course will lower your confidence, but then you're just gonna have to, if you can't find a different job, then downgrade and get less pay and save your money and spend less. You just have to figure it out, and remember that everything's temporary and eventually you will figure it out as long as you power through. That's it today, guys. I'm about to be late for dinner. I hope this helped you somehow, and tell me in the comments what more you would like to see. Sending you love, light, and good vibes as always.